again tonight, and he was asked earlier by Sam Cosentino about his favorite moment from Game 6.
You know, I think watching the guys celebrate because it's a long year and you give up a lot. You give up your family almost to certainly dedicate yourself to a winning season, and to finally see that clubhouse. I don't know, Sam, if you've seen that clubhouse after it was over with, but it was really something to see.
You know, really a well-played, evenly matched series that I think we all felt like we had a good opportunity to win it, but in the end we didn't make enough plays or do enough things to do that.
Should have won. That's the first thing I think about. I think about me being at third base when the final out was made. Otis Nixon was at the plate. I think about a series that they ended up winning 2 in a row. Then who knows what it could have been for us. You know, we lost every game, I think, by 1 run. So I think about those things.
Over 15 years ago now, we can talk about the modern-day edition of the Blue Jays, and as of tonight, Cito Gaston has been the skipper for 1 week, and many players seem to be benefiting from his expertise, including Scott Rowland, the third baseman.
Probably nobody more than Scott Rowland. He has really started to bring the home run stroke to the plate. He has homered in 3 of his last 4 games since Cito Gaston and crew took over, and when you watch him, he's really starting to get the head of the bat out. He's hitting fastballs out in front now, driving the ball. The last time he had a home run before this little surge, you had to go all the way back to May the 7th.
So he's hit 6 all year, 3 of them under the tutelage of Cito Gaston and Gene Tennis. And with more on the pride of Jasper, Indiana, we go down to the field and bring in Sam Cosentino.
Well, thanks very much, Jamie. Scott Rowland will man the position behind me, as he does so well each and every game. But Scott Rowland has experience that with Cito Gaston managing. Not only is he going to play every day, which he did under John Gibbons, but it looks like he's going to fit into that 6th spot. And where he hits, 2 lefties surrounding him. You have Matt Stairs in the 5 hole, Lyle Overbay bumped down to the 7 hole. Seems to be a real comfort level for Rowland in that spot. We'll see if he continue with that power stroke here tonight.
And Sam, 2 old friends will go at it tonight, Cito Gaston and Bobby Cox then, Cito Gaston and Bobby Cox now. The first game of this 3-game series comes your way next here on Rogers Sportsnet.
Vivian.
Six weeks ago, I was just like you, and then I met her.
We are a fraternity of assassins.
Kill 1, save 1,000. That's what we believe in, and that's why we do it.
Join us. Wanted, now playing.
Can I help you?
Hi, I'm interested in getting... Sorry. Hi, honey. How much are they there? These are really quiet, I think, so... Sorry, excuse me. Hello, Dad. How much are they there? How much? Shut up. Billy! Yes, how much is it there?
Holy moly.
At Lowe's, you'll always get the best price around with our everyday low price guarantee.
I'll take them.
Find a better price on anything we sell, and we'll match it, plus take an additional 10% off.
How much is it there? Trust me, just buy it.
Lowe's, Canada's new home improvement warehouse.
Fill up on tacos, $3.99. Fill up on tacos, $3.99.
Taco Bell's got a deal with your name on it. 5 tacos for $3.99 is back. That's 5 hard or soft tacos filled with seasoned beef, lettuce, and cheese. To fill up on tacos for $3.99, think outside the bun. And don't forget about Fries Supreme. Fries Supreme.
Disney Pixar invite you to plug in. Hang on. And take off. We're here, everybody. Yay! With this summer's biggest hero. Disney Pixar's WALL-E, now playing.
Michelle.
Blue Jays, Braves, it's always game time.
The Jays on Rogers Sportsnet. Brought to you by General Motors and all its divisions.
Flashback Friday at Rogers Center, and there's no better team to flashback with than the Atlanta Braves. The first team that provided opposition for the Blue Jays in World Series play. That was over 15 years ago, and Bobby Cox was the manager then. He's the manager now for this Braves edition. They've got 3 rookies in the starting lineup and a free agent to be in Mark Teixeira playing first base. His numbers against the Blue Jays posted when he was playing with Texas: 15 home runs and a .306 average. So the starting lineup is brought to you by Holiday Inn Hotels. Enjoy our free high-speed internet. And you look at Dustin McGowan making the start. His numbers are presented by Nikon and the all-new lineup of Coolpix digital cameras. Visit nikon.ca for a dealer near you.
Dustin is looking to stay hot. He has gone 4-1 with a .421 earned run average over his last 6 starts.
Ready to play ball, and the first ball is hit out to center field for Vernon Wells in the powder blue. And so Gregor Blanco, the rookie center fielder, is retired as we get a scouting report on the Georgia native Dustin McGowan.
Something we've seen a lot here. He's got a very strong arm, mid-90s fastball. He can really rush it up there, and he's really starting to find the plate. 3 walks in his last 3 starts, which is always a good sign. 2-1 in those 3 starts. And he is really hot at home. It's really hard to explain his numbers here at Rogers Center. ERA under 2, 4-1 at the Rogers Center. He just looks so comfortable pitching here.
The next man at the plate is Ruben Gotay, and you have to figure that McGowan, who was born and raised in a little town just outside of Savannah, Georgia called Ludowici, is facing the Braves for the first time, and this may have been the team he followed as a young man.
Oh, I'm sure it was. And people like John Smoltz and Tom Glavine, 2 pitchers who are still with this organization. Both of them on the disabled list, but I'm sure those were the kind of guys that he emulated in the backyard when he was a kid.
McGowan making his 17th start. Facing the journeyman Gotay here. An 0-2 count on the third baseman, and here comes the pitch from McGowan. It's slapped down the left field line, and that's a fair ball. Off to get it is Adam Lind. Gotay heads for second, and he picks up a double with 1 out.
Well, there is something about this interleague play for this young man right here, Ruben Gotay. He is a career .239 hitter, but you throw an interleague game out there and he becomes a .380 hitter, which is the best all-time, a minimum 75 plate appearances, and he looked pretty comfortable there hitting that breaking ball.
Gotay picks up his second double. The number 3 hitter is Kelly Johnson, Atlanta's second baseman. In the lineup tonight, the Braves have 3 switch hitters and 4 who hit naturally from the left side. Here's one of them, Johnson, the second baseman. Oh, and 1, and McGowan works inside.
The numbers left, right for Dustin McGowan this year, just about the same. Right-handers are hitting .262 off of McGowan this year. Left-handers at .287. But when he throws that changeup for strikes against left-handed batters, he can get them to fish for it because he's got great arm action on it.
That's fouled away and out of play. 1-2 on the batter. This will be some kind of night here at Rogers Center as we visit with Devon White in the 4th inning, one of the key members of the '92 World Series team. And the timing of the Braves coming here is perfect. Cito Gaston has been managing Toronto now for 1 week. All the changes were made 1 week ago tonight in Pittsburgh. Johnson facing McGowan with 2 strikes. 1 out and a man at second base. For some reason, Dustin is incredibly comfortable here at Rogers Center. A 4-1 record so far this year with an ERA at 1.73. Incredibly impressive as he throws the 2-2 down and in.
Well, that's one of the best ERAs here at home for a Blue Jay pitcher all time. Through his first 6 home starts of the season, you mentioned his ERA at 1.7. Only Pat Hankett in 1994 and Jimmy Key in 1988 had better earned run averages here at Rogers Center / Skydome than Dustin McGowan's 1.7.
3 balls, 2 strikes, and a swing and miss from Johnson, who goes after a pitch high and likely out of the strike zone. So McGowan picks up an important strikeout because you don't want men on base when Mark Teixeira comes to the plate.
Yeah, and you could probably pitch around him if you choose to. As you see that a fastball just explodes. That's the thing that's a little different from the pitcher that we saw last night, Jesse Litch. He has to kind of mix his pitches and get it down in the strike zone. I think McGowan has that ability to get guys out up in the strike zone. When you're teaching young pitchers, hey, get the ball down, keep it on the corners, but with McGowan's stuff and his overpowering arsenal that he has, he can pitch up there and get guys out.
Here's Teixeira now. He looks at a strike, and for many of the Braves, this will be the first time they've ever faced McGowan, but not so for Teixeira, who saw him on occasion with the Texas Rangers. He split last year with Texas and Atlanta. Came over in a deal that sent Jared Saltalamacchia to the Rangers. 1-1, and that's up high. Teixeira will likely cash in at the end of the year because he will become a free agent when this season ends.
And there's going to be a lot of guys, a lot of teams lining up to try and sign this slugger.
Here's a ball hit high in the air to right field. Rios heading back toward the bullpen, and she is gone. That's what he can do. A home run to Teixeira, and it's 2-0 for the Braves.
Before this inning, Dustin McGowan had only given up 1 home run here at Rogers Center all year. And he is touched by Teixeira. It looked like an off-speed pitch that really sped his bat up. Yeah, 88-mile-an-hour breaking ball. He gets the head out and hits number 15. It's a Braves offense that can really hit, even though they're missing a lot of pieces. Chipper Jones is not in the lineup. There's another base hit by Brian McCann. Yunel Escobar is not in the lineup. Mark Kotze. But they are still dangerous. They still have a lot of bats in that lineup. Let's take a look at the defense that will play behind Dustin McGowan here tonight. Same one that we have seen the last few nights. Lind, Wells, and Rios in the outfield. Roland, Scudero, Inglet, and Overbay in the infield. And Greg Zahn will do the catching.
So in the first inning, the Braves have put together a single, a double, and a home run against McGowan. And their designated hitter, the well-traveled Greg Norton, steps in now with McCann at first base. Norton has been around so long. The first home run he ever hit in the major leagues came off of Mike Maddox, who's now the pitching coach with the Milwaukee Brewers. That was back in 1996 against the then the Boston Red Sox. Norton was with Chicago, and he shoots this ball to left field. Adam Lind barely has to move to catch the liner. And that's it for the Braves, but they'll score 2 on Teixeira's 15th home run of the year. And as we head for the bottom of the first inning, it's the Braves 2 and the Blue Jays coming to the plate.
I'm not trying to cause a big sensation. Just talking about my generation. My generation. My generation.
Say hello to the newest generation of Nikon Coolpix cameras. Smarter, faster, sleeker with Nikon's XP digital processing. There's a Nikon Coolpix that's just right for you. Visit nikon.ca.
Not trying to cause a big sensation.
Hey, Will. Let me call you, Cap.
Save your friend from drinking and driving, and he just might save a life.
What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Yeah, I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends, with a little help from my friends.
At Hampton by Hilton, we love having you.
Here's Toronto's lineup for tonight's ball game, and it really hasn't changed in the last 4 days. It's exactly as it was a night ago when the Blue Jays defeated the Cincinnati Reds. Scudero at the top, Inglet bats second, Rios, Wells, Stairs, Roland, Overbazon, and Lynn. Get used to consistency now that Cito Gaston is managing. He figures, why fiddle with the lineup if you don't have to? Tonight, the Blue Jays face a right-hander having a very impressive season. You're looking at Jurrjens.
Making his 16th start of the season. You know what he's going to be doing? He's going to be trying to match Tim Hudson for the team lead in victories. That in itself is pretty impressive. In his last start, the rookie gave up 3 unearned runs in 6 innings, picking up a no decision as Atlanta beat Seattle. He has never faced the Blue Jays.
First man at the plate is Marco Scudero, who really seems to have found a comfort level in the leadoff position. Scudero last night didn't pick up a base hit, but he was hit by a pitch and came around to score in a 3-run third as the Blue Jays polished off the Reds 7-1. He faces Jurrjens for the first time. 1 ball and 1 strike, and that's down low. Now, Jurrjens hasn't lost a game since May the 12th at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. He's got a very slow and deliberate windup.
7 starts since that last loss in Pittsburgh. He has gone 3-0. His ERA is excellent, which is 10th in the National League at 3.2. Got a good arm. They have had to put together their pitching staff because of some injury, and they've needed some young players to step up. This is one of them.
They have lost John Smoltz for the year. Tom Glavine is out.
They're hoping that he gets back in the second half.
The Braves had hope that Mike Hampton would be around, and he might be in the next month or so. So you're right, Pat. This is a patchwork rotation. Scudero sends this ball to right field. There's Jeff Francoeur. He makes the out. 1 down in the first inning.
Let's take a look at those numbers. There's the 7 wins and the ERA of 3.2. Opponents just hitting .255 against him. He missed the start with a sprained ankle a couple of starts ago, but since has given up just 3 runs in 13 2/3 innings pitched in his last 2 outings. So he's starting to feel a little bit more comfortable here. Pitched in Double-A last year and then had a cup of coffee with the Tigers.
And Atlanta liked him so much they ended up trading Edgar Renteria to the Tigers to get him. Here's Joe Inglet. Joe has a hit in 4 consecutive games. He rolls it to the second baseman. Johnson throws him out.
Kelly Johnson almost got hit by Teixeira on the throwback. Let's take a look at the scouting report for this young right-hander. He was an expendable Tiger. He was with the Detroit Tigers, but Atlanta really liked him, and they were able to trade Renteria for him last October, and they got a nice live arm. His fastball 92 to 95 miles an hour. He leads NL rookies in wins with those 7 W's. Very confident player. Came in the spring training wanting to win a spot into this rotation. Confident in himself. Very mature for his age of just 22 years old. Says he would pitch to contact, and he's not afraid to throw strikes. His best pitch is probably his changeup. He's got a good one.
Alex Rios at the plate, swinging and missing, and there's a good look at it.
Yeah, the 84 miles an hour. A lot like last night's starter that the Blue Jays faced, Edinson Volquez, a good changeup, but they didn't have problems with it last night.
1 ball and 1 strike on the ground for Teixeira. He'll play it himself and allow Jurrjens to enjoy a 1-2-3 first inning. 2-0 Atlanta.
Giving the 2008 GMC Sierra more power doesn't make it professional grade. Giving it 315 horsepower while making it the most fuel-efficient 4x4 full-size pickup does. The 2008 GMC Sierra. We gave it more power. We made it more fuel-efficient. We examined everything and overlooked nothing. Then backed it with the best coverage in Canada. That's professional grade.
Answer online at partycasino.net. Do you like playing games?
A velvety palate with subtle notes of honey and just a hint of chocolate. Blended perfectly together by master blender Colin Scott. Chivas, the #1 premium blended scotch in Canada. Please enjoy our products responsibly after your favorite activity.
The 6th annual Dog Day is coming up on Sunday, presented by the Ontario SPCA and Pet Network. You can sit in the dog zone. Tickets are $32. The dog gets in for free, and the parade around the field begins at noon. Contact the Blue Jays at 416-341-1716 for information. On a warm night in Toronto, the #7 hitter for the Braves comes to the plate against Dustin McGowan. His team ahead 2-0. Jeff Francoeur is a free swinger with a solid bat. And like so many players on this Braves roster, and like Dustin McGowan, also a native of the state of Georgia.
Very fertile ground down in Georgia.
Apparently.
With athletes, not just baseball players. There are great basketball players coming out of there, football players. But you're right, the Atlanta Braves have really taken advantage of the players in their own backyard over the last few years and drafting them. Their #1 pick last year was a hitter from the state of Georgia.
Here's Francoeur on 3-1. He goes after a pitch down. The count is full.
Talking about great athletes. Francoeur was a great athlete. He was going to go play football. They had a football scholarship to Clemson University before the Atlanta Braves came calling and made him their #1 pick.
He strikes out. McGowan picks up his 2nd strikeout. And tonight we see the Braves and Blue Jays going at it. You'll recall 1992. Ever since then, though, Pat, these two clubs have gone really in different directions.
Well, an unprecedented run for the Atlanta Braves since the '91 season. I believe that was Bobby Cox's 2nd year at the helm. So many championship teams playing in a ton of World Series. But they only have that one World Series title. 95, I believe, when they beat Cleveland.
And isn't that what counts at the end of the day? Winning the title. Since '92, the Blue Jays have 2 and the Braves have 1. And I think that's been a source of frustration for so many of the fans in in the state of Georgia is that they were always in the postseason, year after year, division titles, as Brandon Jones grounds to England. He's thrown out 2 down, and yet it only produced that one World Series victory that you speak of.
Hard to believe, too, because they had some great teams, you know, I mean, Hall of Fame type players. They'd get to the World Series and just something would happen. I remember they had a 2-lead against the New York Yankees. They won the first 2 games in Yankee Stadium and ended up losing that World Series.
1996. Well, here's Brent Lillibridge, who is the shortstop, and he swings and misses at the offering from Dustin McGowan. And Lillibridge was acquired from the Pittsburgh Pirates in the Adam LaRoche deal. He's in his first season, too. A light hitter down in AAA, but the 4th-year pro from Everett, Washington, is at the big league level now.
And happy to have him. Their starting shortstop, Yunel Escobar, is hurt. He is on the roster. He's not on the DL. He's hurt. Can't play, so they're throwing their backup, Omar Infante. Watching the game the other day, he pulled a hamstring muscle on a base hit, so he's out. So this is their 3rd shortstop this week that they have used.
No balls, 2 strikes. Here goes McGowan, and that is right down the pipe, strike 3. So after giving up a pair in the first, McGowan comes back in this inning and sets the Braves down in order. He'll see Vernon Wells lead off when we continue here on Rogers Sportsnet.
Closed captioning brought to you by Tim Hortons' new home-style hash brown. Shredded potato, lightly seasoned and oven toasted to a golden brown crispness.
This will keep us ahead of the competition.
Look, I'm not losing the Colombian dark roast, okay?
Yeah, but with blackberries, we'll all save time, be more productive. It's just the cost of doing business.
Yeah, what cost?
Actually, email's just $15 a month.
15 bucks?
Yeah.
So I could keep the dark roast then?
Actually, at that price, we could go with the Indonesian blue blend.
The blue? The blue.
Add wireless email to your plan for only $15 a month from Rogers, Canada's most reliable network.
This place is great.
Oh, see what I see? Yeah, we're gonna send her a plate of bacon.
Bacon? Oh, it's a little too aggressive. Let's send her a cheese omelet.
No, an English muffin. It's more proper.
What about a hot cinnamon roll?
Cinnamon roll? Well, that's something you send your sister. I'm gonna send her some bacon. Right.
Compliments to those guys. Oh, yogurt.
Check out the new hot bar in town, the Holiday Inn Express Hot Breakfast Bar.
See, you guys don't know anything about women.
The boys of summer are here. Rogers Sportsnet is your home of the Jays with every game on the schedule in high definition.
Oh, my!
Jays, Mariners, Monday in HD on Rogers Sportsnet.
We remind you that the General Motors Home Run Challenge has been underway all season. We're still waiting for one of the Blue Jays to hit that display in game, and when one of them does, someone will win their choice of a Pontiac Vibe or a Chevrolet Malibu Hybrid in the General Motors Home Run Challenge. Please enter today. You can by going to BlueJays.com/Home Run Challenge. 2-0 Atlanta. I'm Jamie Campbell with Pat Tabler and Sam Cosentino tonight at Rogers Center. It's Flashback Friday. The Blue Jays are wearing the old uniforms, facing their old manager, too, Bobby Cox, who returns to Toronto. Here's Vernon Wells. Wells facing Jair Jurrjens, and there's a strike, 0-2. Vernon made that diving catch against Franklin Gutierrez in Cleveland on May the 9th and came up with a sprained wrist. Incredibly got back into the lineup less than a month later. And you would expect him to lose a little power after fracturing his wrist, but he's hit 2 home runs since coming back off the disabled list.
Those were hit here like within a week after coming off the disabled list, wasn't it?
One here against Baltimore 2 days after he returned. And then another against Carlos Silva of the Seattle Mariners. Lillibridge throws out Wells.
Autotrader.ca. Now with new cars. Autotrader. Come meet.
So Jurrjens has retired his first 4. And Matt Stairs will be the next man to face him. Stairs leads the Blue Jays with 8 home runs, but Jurrjens doesn't give up many. In fact, all year long, he's only allowed 5.
Pitches in a great pitcher's ballpark down in Atlanta.
Turner Field.
Big alleys. Ball doesn't really carry there except down the line.
There's a bouncing ball that almost skips by Teixeira, but he makes the play for the second out.
It's a Gold Glover over there at first base, Mark Teixeira. Let's take a look at the rest of the defenders for Atlanta. In the outfield, Jones, Blanco, and Jeff Francoeur's got a sensational arm. He led all major leaguers last year, tied for the Major League with 19 outfield assists. Gotay, Littlebridge, Johnson, and McCann round out the rest of the infielder.
2 down in Scott Rowland. You know, I had to think about it when you said that ballpark down in Atlanta, only because remember we rolled into Cleveland and
yeah,
it took us a while to figure out that they changed the name from Jacobs Field to Progressive Field.
You had to write it down.
I did. Just to remind myself.
Right. But they didn't change anything down in Atlanta, right? Still
No.
Turner Field?
I think.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Here's Scott Rowland, and we touched on this at the beginning of the program. Scott Rowland has 6 home runs this year and 3 inside the week that Cito Gaston and Gene Tennis and Dwayne Murphy have been on staff.
Yeah, but he was saying that he started feeling the power stroke starting to come around their last trip in Pittsburgh last week, that he started feeling that he was finding his home run swing. What I notice about Scott is he's really getting the bat head out, and he's hitting the ball out in front now and driving the ball into the gaps. Before he was getting beat. Shortened it up just a little bit more, and the results have been great.
Is that a timing issue?
Part of it is timing and feeling comfortable. You know, as a hitter, you could sit up there and go, you know what, I want to hit the ball out in front, but for some reason you always hit it behind. So that could be a timing, that could be, you could be a little bit long. Your swing is a little bit slow. You want it nice and short.
Here's a ball ripped to right field. Francoeur chasing it down and makes a nice catch in the corner. So it's 6 up and 6 down for Jurrjens here against the Blue Jays. A smiling Francoeur trots off the field with the Braves on top 2-0. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet.
I want a hybrid that fits my life.
$3 million baseball giveaway, and Ken Vantini. I'm not even. You want to give that a shot, Tabs?
No thanks.
Okay. Ken from Newmarket, Ontario.
There you go.
These names are so easy every night, and then they throw that one at me.
Vantinen.
Well, thank you very much. Our producer Ed Hall just chimed in. Ken Vantinen of Newmarket, Ontario, has entered and could be a winner if one of the Blue Jays hits for the cycle. Atlanta enjoys a 2-0 lead against Dustin McGowan. Leadoff man Gregor Blanco lifts a ball over the head of Marco Scutaro into shallow left center field. The Braves pick up their 4th hit of the ball game, and that sets the table for Ruben Gotay. Gotay's got a familiar last name. His uncle Julio played 10 years in the big leagues with, among other teams, the St. Louis Cardinals and Houston Astros, I believe, back in the 60s. His dad was a minor leaguer, so baseball seems to run in the family. Gotay doubled and scored in the first inning.
Do you know his father's first name by any chance?
I could find it.
Because I remember playing against a Gotay in the minor leagues.
Really?
And I remember playing third base, and he hit one right at me. Bounced and hit me right in the eyeball. and that's how, whenever I see a Gotay playing, I think of that play in 1982. Right off the eyeball. Thought his name was Ruben.
That's exactly right.
No.
Yes, I've just confirmed it. I've just looked it up in the bio.
Well, that was his father who nailed me.
That hit you in the eye. He drops down a bunt. Taking charge is McGowan. Oh, and he hits him in the head in the back of the helmet. And the runner is out. Gotay is out on the play.
Bobby Cox is going to want to know a reason why. And I think home plate umpire Kerwin Danley is going to tell him that he was on the inside part of that chalk line. Whatever he's saying, Kerwin Danley, Bobby Cox is not believing it. Let's see from a replay who is right, Bobby Cox or Kerwin Danley. You see the ball drop down nicely. McGowan comes up with the throw. And I think Bobby Cox might be right.
He's right on the line.
Yep.
And what a break that is for the Blue Jays.
Well, the runner has to go all the way to first base, back to first base. That was Gregor Blanco. Goes all the way back to first base. Gotay gets hit, so that hurts, and then he has to go back to the dugout.
And Kelly Johnson now lines to left field. So he's retired. Suddenly there are two out. And after Ruben Gotay's dad hit you in the eye, Dustin McGowan hits Ruben in the back of the head, and he doesn't even get to pick up a base.
Yeah, he gets the pain, and he has to go back to the dugout. Double dip.
Oh, what a game. So that brings up the man who hit the home run in the first inning. Mark Teixeira now has 15.
And he also has a lot of extra base hits in that bat. 397 extra base hits now since from 2004, which is 5th in the major leagues. Lots and lots of power. 4 straight years now with 30+ home runs.
There goes the runner from first, but it's foul tipped by Teixeira. And with 2 strikes in the first inning, he did this.
Like an off-speed pitch. He hits it high, and really no doubt about it, the right field over the bullpen there. Power from both sides of the plate. You know, if you're one of those managers who likes to use your bullpen and you've got a lot of lefties and righties and you want to match up, this is a tough team to match up with. You mentioned it about the switch hitters, and their best hitting switch hitter is not even in the lineup tonight.
Chipper Jones, who just happens to lead the National League in hitting. I think the average now is at about 394, but he was up over 400 for a long, long time. 2 balls, 1 strike. Teixeira the batter. McGowan with a look over to first. Here comes the 2-1 now. And this ball ripped to center field. Vernon Wells better hustle. It gets past him and up against the wall. Blanco heads for third. He rounds and heads for home. And the Braves have another. It's now 3-0. And Mark Teixeira has driven in all 3.
18th double this season, 200th of his career. And we talked about extra base power. This is now 398 as the ball gets by Vernon Wells on a line. He was shading him to right field. And with a lot of speed on first base, and Gregor Blanco, he scores easily.
Teixeira at second. Brian McCann, the catcher, a two-time All-Star, singled in the first inning. He's 1 for 1. Like Francoeur, McCann also hails from the Atlanta area, specifically Athens, Georgia. He's just 24 years of age. A second-round pick in the 2002 draft from a high school in Duluth, Georgia.
They have a baseball program, a youth baseball program in the Atlanta area called East Cobb that Jeff Francoeur played for, a couple of these other players. That's just outstanding. Getting players from all over the state.
Here's a shot to first. What a play, Overbay. And McGowan is covering, and Overbay just took away perhaps extra bases from Brian McCann. That's a Gold Glove-like play.
Well, there's one Gold Glover here, Mark Teixeira, but that looks like it right there. Takes away a base hit. Blue Jays down by 3.
Booth in the bottom of the 4th inning. And that's one of the pleasures of working on Flashback Friday, as we get to visit with some of those who were instrumental in bringing 2 World Series titles to Toronto, and Devon White was one of them. Bottom third of the order coming up. Overbay, Zahn, and Lynn for the Blue Jays, who have gone 6 up and 6 down against Jurrjens, making his 16th start of the year.
Even though he's just 22 years old, Jurrjens, he has been around. He has pitched for the Netherlands in the World Baseball Classic. That was a couple of years ago when he was just 20 years old. Made one appearance.
Native of Curacao, which I think is where Andrew Jones is from as well. Here's Overbay at the plate. Let's go downstairs now and bring in Sam Cosentino.
Well, Jamie, Overbay hitting 7th. You see Greg Zahn and then Adam Lynn. Cito Gaston really likes to mix it up with that lefty-righty thing, and he has that predominantly, except for the 3-4 guys in Rios and Wells.
Overbay grounds to first. Teixeira makes the play. Now, Cito Gaston is a big fan, when possible, of getting a lefty, followed by a righty, followed by a lefty, just mixing it up.
Makes it tough on the opposing manager, where he's really got to start using lefties for just one batter if he wants to get that right-handed, left-handed matchup. So you always want to have that type of balance throughout your lineup, making it difficult for the opposing manager.
Next man up is Greg Zahn. Gaston was asked before the game if perhaps he'd think about putting Rod Barajas in the lineup tomorrow, a day game that follows a night game. And he was non-committal. He said it depends, really. He doesn't want to really mess with anything as long as the Blue Jays are producing offensively and winning ball games.
Yeah, no problem with that, but I would assume that Rod would catch at least one of the games over the weekend. I believe they have a left-hander going
on Sunday.
Jojo Reyes.
Yes.
I believe he'll catch one of those games.
That runs in on Zahn and appeared to hit perhaps the knob of the bat.
No argument from Greg Zahn, and this is why. Right off the bat. Foul ball.
0-2. Jurrjens with the delivery. Off the plate, ball 1. Pat, in the last 2 nights, we have witnessed opposing starting pitchers who were acquired in rather big trades, and they were taken by teams who obviously had done their scouting. The Braves getting Jurrjens from Detroit, Cincinnati getting Edinson Volquez from the Texas Rangers as Zahn strikes out. Our chance to remind you that Blue Jays Country Night, presented by the New Country 95.3, comes July 28th with Tampa Bay in town. Tickets are $37, and the fans sitting in the Cowboy Country section will receive a free Blue Jay Cowboy hat. So log on to BlueJays.com for information there. Jurrjens with his first strikeout victim. That was on. This is Adam Lind.
You were just talking about teams who are able to, I don't want to say steal players, but maybe see something in them from different organizations and bring them to your team. I think that is like the lifeblood of your organization. You are not going to be right every single draft pick you make, but you can kind of keep your eyes open and have good scouts and kind of get some players from other organizations that might fit into your system a little bit better. The other player that Atlanta got in that trade for Edgar Renteria, 20-year-old outfielder who's playing in A-ball, was just named to the All-Futures team that will be played over the All-Star break, the Futures game.
I believe his name is Gorkis
Hernandez.
Hernandez,
Yes. Just named yesterday to the Futures game. So two very good prospects that the Braves saw in the Tiger organization. Tigers needed a shortstop, wanted a shortstop. The Atlanta Braves had Yunel Escobar coming up. They found that Edgar Renteria was expendable. They traded one very good professional big leaguer for two young kids who are going to help their organization. I mean, that's how you keep it coming. You keep the pipeline full.
There's ball 2 to Adam Lind, and the Blue Jays have one of their prospects playing in that game as well. That's the Futures game the Sunday at Yankee Stadium prior to the All-Star game. Infielder Scott Campbell, who's a New Zealand native, will play for the world team. He's having a great year in Double-A, and Adam Lind has played some time down in New Hampshire, and he strikes out here. 9 up, 9 down so far for Jurrjens.
I want a hybrid that fits my.
Toronto Star, Shoppers Drug Mart, and Tide to Go. The next one is tomorrow, and there's so much for the kids to do. If you're hanging around for the long weekend, come out just prior to the ball game. There'll be an outdoor festival. The kids can take part in the Passport program. Tickets are available by phone, by internet, or by walking up to the box office. Base hit right field, Greg Norton. That's the way the Braves begin the 4th inning.
Autotrader.ca, now with new cars. Auto Trader, come meet your match.
And that'll bring Jeff Francoeur back to the plate. He struck out on a 3-2 fastball facing McGowan in the 2nd inning.
I've watched the Atlanta Braves a few times this year, and the one thing that I noticed, they are a free swinger. And they get into that batter's box. They have a good idea of that strike zone, but they go up there swinging, and Dustin McGowan tried to get ahead of Greg Norton with one of those here's a get me over fastball for strike 1, and he ripped it. So you're going to have to change things up just a little bit.
Now, did Dustin McGowan not start this game wearing glasses?
Yes, he did.
Interesting. He gave up the home run in the 1st inning. 3 hits for Atlanta.
I wonder if they were fogging up.
That's possible. Yours are.
Yes, they are.
This ball hammered and just foul. And if you're wondering why McGowan is wearing glasses in the first place, and look how close this came to being fair. It is due to the fact that he is a diabetic and discovered not long ago that his eyesight really started to weaken during night games. You won't see him wearing them during day games. That ball's in the dirt, but in that series against the Angels down in Anaheim on May the 30th, the game in which McGowan won, in fact, he started wearing glasses to improve his night vision. And so he has done that. But as you now know, he has decided to forego the glasses, at least for the time being.
Yeah, saw his last start Sunday in Pittsburgh and noticed he wasn't wearing them, and you just told me why. I didn't know that.
Let's go downstairs and get more from Sam Cosentino.
Well, Jamie, closer to the field here, they actually have the lights on in the stadium with the roof open, and so that combination is really giving it that daytime feel. I'm sure as this game moves on, as dusk starts to turn into early evening, you may see him go back to the glasses, 4th or 5th, maybe even the 6th inning.
3-2 to Frank Coeur, and he lifts the ball into left field and flies out into the hands of Adam Lynn. I thought Frank Coeur was supposed to be a free swinger. He just hit a ball to left field on a full count.
Well, he's big and he's strong. You can tell how athletic he is. Up and down the lineup, this Atlanta Braves team is just like that. Big, strong athletes. It's always been their motto when they're looking for baseball players. They want to get some athletes. Chipper Jones was a great athlete, still is. We talked about Frank Coeur. Tom Glavine was a hockey player.
Drafted by the Los Angeles Kings, in fact. He was good enough to get drafted.
All those pitchers are great golfers, too. I've heard the stories about them on the golf course, how good they are. So you know they're good athletes.
1 out, 1 on in the 4th inning. Brandon Jones, the left fielder, comes back up. Runner goes from first, grounded right to Inglet. No time to go to second, obviously, so he goes to first instead.
Trying to push the button, and the Toronto Blue Jays guessed right with Brandon Jones at the plate. Bobby Cox starts Norton, and now if they guess wrong, meaning that Joe Inglet, the second baseman, if he covers at second base, the Braves are playing first and third. But Inglet holds his ground. Scudero covers, and the ball's hit to Inglet for the second out.
And so the rookie shortstop is back up, Brent Lillibridge. He struck out in the 2nd inning. You know, the Braves are just 2 games under 500, so they've got a similar record to the Blue Jays, who are 4 games below the 500 mark, and yet Atlanta has, as a team, the 3rd best batting average in the National League, so they're hitting the ball. Their team ERA pitching wise is #1 in the senior circuit. Statistically, they look fine.
Yeah, 3rd in on-base percentage offensively.
And they're only 4 games out of first place.
That's the next thing I was going to say. They are right there. 2 games under 500, but just 4 back behind the Philadelphia Phillies, who lead the National League Eastern Division.
1-1. And that ball into center field. Here's Wells. There go the Braves. They get a leadoff single from Norton, but the next 3 go down. Bottom of the 4th coming up. Marco Scudero will try and get a hit in front of the kids. Excuse me, BlueJays.com/home run challenge. Someone could be a lucky winner of a brand new automobile. It could be the Chevrolet Malibu Hybrid, or perhaps the Pontiac Vibe. First, one of the Blue Jays has to hit that display, and that would mean getting a hit, which is something they haven't yet done against Jurrjens. He has been terrific in the first 3 innings, setting down the Blue Jays in order.
Yeah, how about a base runner first? Let's see what he can do out of the stretch. He has been in the windup for the first 3 innings.
Scudero falls behind 0-2. The Braves got off to a quick start. They scored 2 against Dustin McGowan in the 1st inning. A home run followed a double as Teixeira hit his 15th. They added another in the 3rd. Once again, it was Teixeira doubling in Gregor Blanco. 3-0 Atlanta on 6 hits. The Blue Jays without a base runner of any kind to this point. This series reunites Cito Gaston and Bobby Cox, and of course they're so well known as being the competing managers in the 1992 World Series, but the truth is they've been good friends for a long time.
Yeah, the relationship goes back really a long way. They played together in Venezuela. Cito and Bobby played together down there. I got a note from a big fan here. Juan Perez Gomez told me he wanted me to remind everybody that Cito Gaston won a batting title when they played in Venezuelan Winter League. So thank you for that. Play for, I can't pronounce that.
Oh, and you're going to ask me to?
Magallanes. That's
Hot
it.
shot taken by Teixeira.
Been busy over there. So you're right. They go back a long way. Cito Gaston broke in with the Atlanta Braves back in 1967. There's a connection there. He also played for Bobby Cox in Atlanta in 1978.
So he's played with him. He's played for him.
And he has coached
for him.
From 1982 to 1985. Here, everybody remembers that. So isn't it fitting that Cito's first World Series as a manager is against Bobby Cox?
There's Teixeira again. What a night for him. He takes one away from Joe England.
He has been very busy. 4 times he has had a unassisted play at first base, and this is the first line drive right at him. For another out. A Gold Glover a couple of times when he was a member of the Texas Rangers.
And he's quickly becoming Jurrjens' best friend tonight. Teixeira makes a great play against England, and now Jurrjens gets a strike against Alex Rios. Once again, here's Sam.
Well, Jamie, and continuing on with this Cito Gaston Bobby Cox relationship, Cito directly credited Bobby Cox for getting him to where he is today in his managerial career, saying that while they were with Atlanta, he brought him up as a coach, and then later here in Toronto.
What an impressive outing so far for Jurrjens, who has not given up a base hit through 4 innings of work. Evening start the 5th against Dustin McGowan. We'd like to wish a happy 80th to Joe Burke, who watches tonight in Point Clark, Ontario. He and his wife Mabel are celebrating their 60th anniversary and tune in most nights to watch the Jays on TV. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Blanco, who singled and scored in the 3rd inning. Dustin McGowan survived the Pirates in his last outing on Sunday. The only victory the Blue Jays picked up on that 6-game swing through Milwaukee and Pittsburgh. And that was just the 2nd win of the year for Dustin on the road. The only other one came in a blowout victory May 30th in Anaheim. Here's a good swing by Blanco. And there is Vernon Wells. And speaking of the road, the Blue Jays will go back on it beginning Monday as they take on the Seattle Mariners for 3 beginning Monday, and then it's off to Anaheim once again. So On the Road is brought to you by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. One down for Ruben Gotay, who was out in the 3rd on runner interference. A call that Bobby Cox contested to no avail. Gotay was running down the first base line, and the ball was fielded on a bunt attempt by McGowan, and McGowan hit him in the back of the head. And it caught Cox by surprise when home plate umpire Kerwin Danley ruled that Gotay had interfered with the play.
And he had a good argument.
He did indeed.
We saw the replay, and he was right on that line.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And the way the inning went, it really saved perhaps another run for Dustin McGowan, because 2 batters later, Mark Teixeira doubled home Blanco. If the call had gone in the direction of the Braves, then Gotay would have been on base at that time.
Second and third. Kelly Johnson would have been coming up. He ended up hitting a long fly ball, so that's 1 run. And then Teixeira ended up doubling. So you're right, that call right now might have saved the Blue Jays from being behind 4-0.
Gotay is in his 4th year in the big leagues. He's played previously with the Kansas City Royals and the New York Mets. Was claimed off waivers last year from the Metropolitans. You know, it's a shame we likely won't see Chipper Jones tonight. He's suffering from an injury that has sidelined a bunch of superstars this year, a quad strain. We've seen Alex Rodriguez go down, Troy Tulowitzki, and now Chipper Jones, who is hitting .394. He's on the bench. You know, swinging's not the problem for Jones right now. It's running.
It's running. And he thinks he'd be fine swinging the bat. So we could see him tonight if this game gets closer and they need a pinch hitter. There was some hope down in Atlanta that with yesterday's off day that he'd be able to be the designated hitter in this series. But I thought he'd be in here. Why wouldn't you want to see him? Look at the numbers that he has put up. Now, these are the last 4 batters who came closest to hitting 400 at the end of the season. Tony Gwynn finished at .394 back in '94. On this date, he was hitting .388.
As I recall, John Olerud was pushing the high 300s in 1993. The one that I always remember was George Brett's pursuit in 1980, because the mark of Ted Williams in 1941, the last man to hit over 400, seemed so elusive at the time. It had been 40 years.
And George was hitting 400
in August,
as late as September.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
early part of September. Dustin McGowan was looking for strikeout number 4. Thought he got it with one of these fastballs on the inner half. But you can see from the strike zone that he just missed the corner.
Sam Cosentino has a little more information on Chipper Jones. Sam?
Well, Jamie Terry Pendleton, who was a great hitter in his own right throughout his career and a great hitting coach for the Atlanta Braves, said he was in awe by seeing what Chipper Jones is able to do every day. The fact that he's a switch hitter makes it even harder to think that his swing is in tune from both sides of the plate.
Well, not surprisingly, as Johnson flies out to left field, sending Gotay back to first.
Yeah, that's a great point. You know, you have to be razor sharp from both sides. You could probably go like a week straight. Terry Pendleton was a very good switch hitter himself in his big league career, but you can go like a week straight, 10 days without hitting from the right side, but you've got to stay sharp. You might just get one at bat. They bring in a left-hander, and all of a sudden you got to switch around. So good point. Hopefully we'll be able to see Chipper in this series, because he is a treat to watch hit.
Here's switch hitting Mark Teixeira, giving someone a souvenir down the left field side. And Chipper's father, Larry Jones Sr., of course, Chipper Jones' given first name is actually Larry.
Doesn't sound right, does it?
Grew up idolizing perhaps the greatest switch hitter of all time in Mickey Mantle. So perhaps that was the impetus in convincing his son to learn how to hit from both sides of the plate. Mark Teixeira certainly does it well.
Probably thousands of fathers have tried to make their sons switch hitters for that same reason, that their favorite player was Mickey Mantle or Chipper Jones. But trying to do it and then doing it are two different things.
Here's McGowan, 2 strikes on Teixeira. He's being quite aggressive with a guy who's driven in 3 runs so far. And you should see Gotay at first base, who ran about 20 feet off the bag and started clapping his hands, trying to perhaps distract Dustin McGowan. Watch this.
He's trying to time McGowan. And then when he left, McGowan had to let go. I mean, he could have been picked off if he was able to step off and see him.
There goes the runner. There's the pitch. Here's Zahn throwing down, and the tag applied. Marco Scutaro. A leaping tag at that, and what a beauty. That's got this crowd fired up.
Maybe that'll get the bats going. Not a big aggressive lead or a great jump, and Greg Zahn throws a strike to Scutaro for the 3rd out. And you know Zahni's got to love that.
Three-game series. Atlanta is here for the first time since 2001. The two clubs met again at Turner Field in 06, and on that occasion the Blue Jays swept all three. Here Jurrjens has 3 runs to work with, and the way he's pitching, the Blue Jays will be lucky to get one.
Well, he's just really mixing his pitches right now, and I think the batters are not familiar with the pattern that he has and has not fallen into a pattern. Basically, it's been fastball, changeup, and just mixing in a little bit of a slider.
Kelly Johnson throws out Wells, and on Flashback Friday, we'll be visiting with Devon White soon enough. While we were away, he came out to the field and received a standing ovation. So next up, July the 11th, just prior to the All-Star game, David Cone will be around. And it's one former Pat Tabler teammate after another here. And remember, it was Cone who started 2 games in the World Series in '92. He didn't pick up the victory in either one of them, but you still won both games. That was Game 2 in Atlanta, and then Game 6, the deciding game, down in Atlanta as well.
He got 2 big hits in game number 2. 2 RBI singles. What did we win that game by? 1 run?
Was it 5-4?
I believe so.
That was the Ed Sprague pinch hit home run that brought home Derek Bell. After what Damon Berryhill had hit a home run in game 1. And then, of course, it was back here to Sky Dome for game 3, and that's when White made his spectacular catch, and the Blue Jays won behind Juan Guzman. We'll be visiting with Devon White hopefully around the 6th. Two balls and a strike. Jurrjens now with the pitch to Stairs, and here's a looper, and that sneaks into center field, and that's the first hit for the Blue Jays tonight.
And we get to see him out of a stretch for the first time. Mixing in fastball, mixing in changeup. But Matt Stairs is a very good fastball hitter. Doesn't hit it hard, but he hits it in a great spot. Right between Johnson and Lilbridge for tonight's first hit. And it was a hit like that the other night. One of those bloopers that find a hole. Greg Zahn did it the other night that really got the Blue Jays offense going.
And that wasn't your average Matt Stairs hit either. I don't remember the last time we saw Stairs bloop one into center field. But he'll take it. And Scott Rowland, who's been swinging a hot bat lately. Remember, he's had 3 home runs in the week that Cito Gaston has taken over as manager. He's got a man on. Rowland's going to roll it up the middle. Perfectly placed is Lillibridge, and he picks up a double play. And no one has ground into more double plays in the major leagues than the Toronto Blue Jays, and they do it again here in the 5th inning. When we continue, the man who made the catch in game 3 joins us in the broadcast booth. Are you working with the Washington Nationals now?
Yes, I am. I'm the outfielder and base running coordinator.
This must be some kind of a night for you to come back at a time when the Atlanta Braves are here in town.
I guess we planned it that way, huh?
You may have. Of course, it was Devon who scored a big run in the 11th inning. of Game 6 of the World Series, and you know that gave Pat here a chance to run on the field and lose your hat in the scrum.
Oh yeah, lost the hat, but I got to jump on these guys, you know, from the bench.
That was a good times, of course.
Wasn't that fun?
A lot of fun.
You know, and I'm seeing the team now starting to hit, and it's bringing back so many memories of 91 and 92 where there were some thumpers that went up there and just started hitting. I thought Cito Gaston had a lot to do with your career to make you the player you became.
I think he did also. He allowed me, gave me my gloves and my bat and said, go out there and play. And he's the kind of manager that basically a player's manager that allow you to just go do your things and no, strings attached.
Didn't he say to you early in spring training that first year, Devo, I'm going to put you at the top of the lineup, just do your thing?
Definitely, definitely. And when you give a young player, that leadway, it makes them feel a lot comfortable.
You didn't have that in California, did you?
Well, in California, it was a difficult situation there for me. I was hitting third, I was hitting fourth, and I was one of the younger guy on the team, so it was a lot of pressure there on me.
2 down here for Greg Norton as we visit with Devon White.
I remember when you were with the Angels, you made me look like a fool one night in Kansas City. I don't know if you remember it when you were on first base. Base hit the left field, and you took a big turn at second base. And I said, if that ever happens again, I'm going to throw behind White, and I'm going to get him, and I'm going to be laughing. Next time up, you got a single. You were on first base. I'm in left field for the Royals. Base hit the left field. You take your wide turn, and I throw behind you, and you just walk to third base on me. Do you remember that?
I don't, but I like to kind of bait outfielders with arms and things,
Well, I didn't have an arm. I thought I was going to outsmart you.
Understood, but even when Vladimir Guerrero came up, great arm, and I wanted to test him, of course, and arm against speed. So it's either you got to make a good throw to get me out.
Ball 4 to Norton, so he walks with 2 down as we visit with Devon White, and of course, a visit with Devon White would not be complete without asking you about what everybody likes to call the catch. And I'll be honest, I spent $125 on a scalper ticket, and I was probably 20 feet away from you in center field when you made that catch. Is that one of the, if not the highlight as an individual accomplishment in your career?
I would think so, but of course, the 3 World Series and nothing compared to the first 2. I've been speaking about it all day today regarding the fans here. The support that we had in 91, 92, and 93 is no comparison to what we did in Florida with the Florida Marlins.
Here's Frank Coeur, high and deep to left, but stays in the field of play. Can you hang around for another half inning, Devon?
No problem at all.
Outstanding. We'll continue our conversation with an old Gold Glover in center field, Devon White, after this. Deep to center field. Devon goes back, does a face plant up against the wall. And beyond that catch, what may be best remembered is the fact that you guys pulled off a triple play within seconds, although it wasn't actually called a triple play, and that's a sore point with a lot of Blue Jay fans. And one of the guys you cut off as one of the outs because he'd passed Deion Sanders is Terry Pendleton, who's in the building on Flashback Friday here tonight. Jamie Campbell and Pat Tabler, happy to have Devon White back with us. And you talked about winning a World Series with the Marlins in '97. How do they differ?
It's no comparison of, and that is not because I'm here now, but when you play every single game of the 91, 92, and 93 that's sold out, that's something to be said. In Florida, it's one of those things,
spring
they came when you were winning. And even when you were winning, we didn't have a sellout.
Right.
All right, I've never asked you this, and I got a chance now. Did you know you were going to make that catch?
Well, I said it earlier. If the ball is in the air and it stays in the ballpark, I was that cocky to say I'm going to catch it. And maybe it's cocky, or maybe I'm just good. I don't know.
You made it look so easy.
Well, it looks easy, but just with my strides and everything like that, you might say I was a secretary of the game because I watched the players hit, and that's how I learned. You know, Justice that hit that ball, basically we were playing him straight up, and I had to go left center with him because he's the kind of hitter that hit it from gap to gap. So it was a tough play. Granted, you know, the outcome of it, but he hit that ball very good.
You don't have to be humble because when they give you a gold glove, that means you are good. As Overbay grounds back to Jurrjens, the pitcher. Now, I'm curious to know, what did you think last week when you found out that Cito Gaston was coming back to manage this team?
You know what? I got a call early from the office, front office, because they knew I was coming up, and they said, "Guess what?" And I'm like, "What?" They said, "Cito's back." And I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "He's the manager." And I'm like, "Great for him." I was very happy for him. You know, it's been a long waiting time, and hopefully, you know, he's here for, you know, some time.
It's been like old home week here. Dave Steve was here yesterday. Pat Henk and Joe Carter was here earlier this week. You are here. We've seen Rance. It's like old home week.
You?
Well, I'm always here.
You know, understood.
I got my spot right here.
And here's an old teammate at the plate.
Yes.
Greg Zahn, who was part of that '97 Marlins club.
Yeah, we still got a couple of them that's, you know, hanging around. I had a chance to say hi to Chipper Jones today, and you know, of course, he was there for both our, you know, our World Series and back in '97. So you know, we got a few players that's still out there.
Mark Lemke is here. He's the radio analyst on the Braves radio network, along with Pete Van Wieren. So it really is Flashback Friday in a big way. And this, of course, is Devon White, who was a critical component of those 2 World Series titles. And what are you doing now? I know you're still in baseball.
Well, I just got back into baseball this year. I was home, like Tab has said. I'm a basketball man. My son was playing. Now my daughter is playing high school ball, and the baby I have, she's a softball player and a volleyball player. So I got my hands full.
You need a few years after you get out of baseball to just kind of be at home and be with your kids, and then you get that urging to get back. And what are you doing again? You're the outfield instructor, coordinator?
Yes, and base running for Washington. But it's a situation that I've been asked before, you know, to you know, take that job, but I wasn't ready for it yet. And this year I said, you know, let me go ahead and try to see, you know, if I like it or not. And, you know, it's been great. You know, great working with the young players.
You get to still be at home. You get to go home for a while and then go on the road.
Exactly. Best of both worlds.
Yes, yes, I hear you.
2-2 to the batter, Zahn. 1 away here in the inning. It's the bottom of the 6th, and the Blue Jays have been controlled by Jurrjens, the right-hander, working for the first time against the Jays here. Greg Zahn is at the plate. He struck out in the 3rd. Jurrjens has only given up a base hit to Matt Stairs. That came 1 inning ago. And he walks Greg Zahn, so base runners have been few and far in between tonight.
Think about it, Jamie. The Toronto Blue Jays organization, how blessed they've been with center fielders throughout their whole existence. Lloyd Mosby.
Yep.
Devo. Vernon Wells.
Yep.
Who played center field the first few years?
Oh, my goodness. 1977. Now you got me.
Bunnell, wasn't Barry Bunnell out there for a while?
Barry Bunnell?
Rick Bossetti.
Rick Bossetti, thank you.
Thank you
Mr. Basket Catch.
There you go.
Who used to do the old.
Great
I
outfielder.
I hate to say, you know, those guys are way before me.
I was going to finish that. You were the best that I've seen defensively.
Thank you.
The best. I just remember you going left, right. It didn't matter. Back, forward, making catches. And you know who really appreciated were the pitchers. The guy who gave up those line drives.
Understood. You know, I just saw Don Sutton the other day, and, you know, he just praised me and said, you know, I helped him to his 300 win. I'm like, you helped me win a Golden Glove.
Look at Teixeira. He's been terrific tonight and starts a 3-6-3 double play, robbing Adam Lind. Hey, it's great to have you back in Toronto. Good to see you, and thanks for joining us, Devon White.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Great to see you, buddy.
All right now.
We'll be back on Rogers Sportsnet as the Blue Jays trail the Braves 3-0.
Hardware. Decorating to renovating, help is close to home.
Inside the concession area, just underneath the big sign that features Greg Zahn. Fans mill about as the Blue Jays on the field are trailing the Atlanta Braves 3-0 in the first game of this 3-game series. So glad you've joined us coast to coast tonight on Rogers Sportsnet. This is Jamie Campbell along with Pat Tabler and Sam Cosentino. It's nice to have Devon White visit for a time, as he is the honored guest here on Flashback Friday.
Looks like he can still play.
You know, it's been over 15 years since that first World Series win, and all it takes is to replay some of the old video, as we did during the opening of this program, to really remember just how it felt to watch this team finally get to the promised land, if you will.
Special for the players,
very
coaches,
special for an
front
entire
office,
country.
and that's where I was heading. The fans, the city, the country, and to be there for the first one. I mean, that's something that will never be taken away, and you never get tired of talking about it, watching the old films. You know, I want to be part of another one. I mean, that's how fun it was.
The impact that the Blue Jay victory had on the entire country was incredible. On the night of Game 6, I was in Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is a 2-hour flight from here. And when Mike Timlin flipped that ball to Joe Carter, the entire downtown section of Halifax erupted. It was incredible.
Probably the whole country.
Well, that kind of thing doesn't happen when, say, the Atlanta Braves win a World Series. When Atlanta wins a World Series, that doesn't mean New Orleans goes crazy.
Right. That's a great point.
2-2. And the pitch to Jones. He sends this out toward left, and it gets past Adam Lynn. Here's Jones heading for second, and Lynn stumbles near the wall, so Jones takes the opportunity to go right to third on the play. So he's got a triple here to lead off the Braves half of the 7th.
Remember how we were talking earlier that the Atlanta Braves always seem to come up with athletes, guys who can hit and run, and as soon as this ball gets out into the outfield, and Adam Lynn just for a second stumbles. Watch Jones put it into a different gear and makes it easily into third base for a triple.
So a man at third, nobody out, and that brings the infield in for the Blue Jays as the shortstop Brent Lillibridge steps in against McGowan. He's 0 for 2. Here we are in the 7th inning, and the Blue Jays are only trailing 3-0. They've had such a difficult time of it tonight against Jurrjens.
McGowan has just made a couple of mistakes, really. Hurt on the home run by Teixeira. It seems like when he does make a mistake and something up into the strike zone, the Braves have not missed it.
Roland takes the fair ball and throws out Lillibridge. 1 down.
Autotrader.ca. Now with new cars. Auto Trader. Come meet your match.
And so the Blue Jays get a quick out and will now deal with the leadoff man, Gregor Blanco, who is 1 for 3 with a run scored.
You know Bobby Cox wants to get this run in from third base in less than 2 outs. He might do anything here.
Perhaps think about trying to squeeze it in.
It's a good bunter. Blanco's already had a single here tonight and a couple of fly balls to Vernon Wells in center field. The outfield is not very deep, and they are shading him to left field. Doesn't have a ton of power. We'll watch that runner over at third base.
One and 0 to Blanco. The pitch from McGowan is sent foul. 1-1. McGowan facing a Venezuelan rookie. That's Jesse Carlson, now wearing Gustavo Chacin's old number 39, starts to throw in the bullpen. McGowan has now thrown 93 pitches. Here comes the 1-1, and the ball is hit to center field, and there's a base hit to cash a run. So they bring home Jones. And the lead is now 4 for Atlanta.
Well, they do it the old-fashioned way with just a solid single to center field. Their 8th base hit of the night. And this single by Blanco will score and plate the 4th run for the Braves. Slider that just kind of hangs out over the middle of the plate. Now be careful with this runner over here. He's got a lot of speed. He had 202 minor league stolen bases. He tried for a stolen base the first time he was on. McGowan doesn't have the greatest move over at first base. He's got a high leg kick.
They pitch out just in case. Blanco's not going anywhere. There he goes now, and the ball is hit high in the air into left field. In comes Adam Lind, and out goes Ruben Gotay.
They almost deked him at second base. Let's see if they got him to touch the bag, and he is out. Yes, sirree. Joe Inglet with a great decoy at second base, and when the runner slid past the bag on that play, he had to go back and tag second. A heads-up play by first Lyle Overbay and Joe Inglet. They make the play, and second base umpire Wally Bell punches out Gregor Blanco. Let's take a look at it. Watch, he takes off. Watch England. He's going to decoy him, so he has to slide. He does. He slides over the bag. When the play was caught, he was off the bag instead of going back and tagging the bag. Let's see if we can keep running it. See, he starts, but he doesn't tag the bag. I was watching him.
The eagle-eyed Wally Bell is there. I think the last player here to do that might have been Carlos Delgado when he was with the Mets. We'll return after this.
Discover the fantastic world of
thrilling memories, no question there, as the Braves and Blue Jays hook up again here in 2008. In case you're scoring at home, the double play after Blanco slid past second and failed to retouch on his way back to first on the fly ball by Gotay is scored 7-6-4 in the event that you are scoring at home. There's been a serious lack of scoring where the Blue Jays are concerned tonight. You can't score if you don't get people on base, and they certainly haven't been able to tonight. Just twice, in fact. A single to center for Stairs in the 5th was the first hit against Jurrjens, and a walk by Zahn last inning gave the Blue Jays their second base runner of the night. But Jurrjens since then has really not had a problem.
But we have to stop hitting it to Mark Teixeira. He has been sensational over at first base. He turned that double play last inning to end the 6th inning. Made a couple of leaping catches on line drives. He's made 4 unassisted outs over at first base. But Jurrjens has been good. He has really mixed in his pitches tonight. This is now the 3rd time through.
He gets the strikeout of Scutaro. And we'd like to remind you one more time that the General Motors Home Run Challenge can be entered by logging on to BlueJays.com/Home Run Challenge today. If one of the Blue Jays hits the display, you could be a winner of a Chevrolet Malibu Hybrid, which is the 2008 North American Car of the Year, or a 2009 Pontiac Vibe. Perhaps this youngster is attending their first ever Blue Jay game in person on a Friday night, a muggy one too here in Toronto. Swung on and missed there by Joe England on the nifty changeup by Jurrjens. England, like everybody else in this lineup, seemingly 0 for something, in this case 0 for 2. He was a victim last time up of the Gold Glover at first base, Mark Teixeira.
Hit a line drive at first baseman and made a catch. Can't say enough about the way Jurrjens has really mixed it up. And I was talking when Scudero was up, how this is the 3rd time through now, and really haven't been able to pick up a pattern that he has used to any of these batters. Sometimes he'll lead them off with a change. Sometimes he'll lead them off with a fastball. He'll get them out with fastballs. He'll get them out with changeups. He'll mix in a little bit of a breaking ball. That's the first thing you want to do, is you want to try and find a pattern from a youngster. So got to give a lot of credit to the catcher, Brian McCann, who has really navigated this youngster through.
And he's been so efficient tonight. He's only thrown 78 pitches, and we're in the bottom of the 7th inning.
There are the great numbers. I love this stat right here. First time through, batters are hitting .233. It's better the second time through. And Jurrjens improves that the 3rd time through. Batters hitting just .245 off of him this year. It's the 3rd time that they face him in a game.
He has struck out 3. He's got 2 strikes on England, but gets a ground ball instead. My, hasn't Teixeira been busy? There's the out, 3-1. 2 down in the 7th inning.
Because of a couple of double plays that the Blue Jays have hit into, one in the 5th and one in the 6th inning. Jurrjens is right on target, facing the minimum amount of batters through 6 2/3 here.
Let's see what Alex Rios can do.
Blue Jays have not hit more than 3 batters in 1 inning all night.
Tomorrow afternoon, the Blue Jays continue this series. A 1 o'clock start here at Rogers Center. Tim Hudson, who's 8-5, goes for the Braves. And the Blue Jays, needing a spot start, bring up left-hander John Parrish, who makes his first big league start. He's been a reliever at the big league level many times. So Parrish starts tomorrow. And then on Sunday, the Braves counter with a left-hander, Jojo Reyes, and he'll go up against A.J. Burnett. 1-2 to Alex Rios. Jurrjens into the windup. And that ball down the line. Gloved by Gotay. The throw is late. And Rios has a base hit. We'll give top marks to the 3rd baseman for effort, though.
Corners are killing the Blue Jays with their glove. This would have been 2 easily for Alex Rios. That big hop right at the end there. Gotay knocks it down, and he's not going to throw out Rios at first base. He's got too much speed, and he beats it easily. Let's see if something like an infield single can get this offense going.
Vernon Wells with 2 out and a man at first base. Toronto down 4-0. And he takes a strike. And as dominant as Jurrjens has been this evening, if Wells can get a hold of one here, all of a sudden it's a 2-run game.
But blooping the blast, right? But he has painted 2 pitches right on the outside corner. There's nothing that Vernon Wells could do with those 2 pitches. Now he's got a battle.
Right back to Jurrjens. He's got time. There goes Wells, and the Blue Jays leave one. A two-hitter for this man. He's been sensational. The Braves lead it 4-0.
Blue Jays 4-0. Atlanta with 8 hits, Toronto with 2. Dustin McGowan continues into the 8th.
He'll face Kelly Johnson, Mark Teixeira, and Brian McCann as the Braves come to town for the first time in 7 years. Kelly Johnson is the batter. He's 0 for 3. The 0-1 pitch from McGowan is wide of the plate, 1-1. This has been so far a reasonably good outing for McGowan, but he has been bettered in every way by the opposing starter, Jurrjens.
Couple of 2-strike hits by the Braves in the first inning. First one by Gotay, and then the home run by Teixeira. Kind of put McGowan in a hole early. It's an offense, the Atlanta Braves, that has been good, but it's been kind of slipping because of injuries. Mark Kotsay and Chipper Jones, we've talked about, they are 6th in the National League in runs scored with 365. But it's their pitching that has really turned it up a notch. You know, coming into this game, they were #1 in the NL in ERA at 369, with 3 of their starters on the DL.
They've got a very young rotation right now because of it, too, with Glavine inactive, John Smoltz out for the year. Jurrjens, who's pitching tonight so effectively, is 22. Jojo Reyes, who goes on Sunday, is 23. They've got a young kid, Charlie Morton, now in the rotation. He's 24. And yet, as you point out, they've got the best ERA in the National League.
The closer, Rafael Soriano.
Strike 3
on the DL. But you're right. I think McGowan has pitched okay. Well enough to win. Right on the outside part of the plate as he picks up strikeout number 4 tonight. Here's the guy who's been trouble for him all night long right here.
Teixeira with the home run in the first inning. That drove in 2. He drove in another run in the 3rd inning with a double to center field. So of the 4 runs tonight scored by Atlanta, this man has driven in 3. And he's back up facing Dustin McGowan. Teixeira with the Texas Rangers crushed 43 home runs back in the 2005 season. And of course, he's a switch hitter. That year, his first home run from the right side of the plate didn't actually come until the All-Star game when he hit one off Dontrell Willis. And the All-Star game that year was played in Detroit. Two balls, 1 strike. McGowan likes his sign, and here he comes.
We were talking earlier that he's a free agent at the end of the year, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Teixeira. He is from the Baltimore area. Do you think the Orioles are going to open up the coffers and try and sign the hometown kid here?
Maybe so. They've got Kevin Millar there at first base. He's getting on in years. McGowan loses the batter. And that gives us a chance to remind you that commentator clothing is provided tonight by Z Zenya and statistical information provided by StatsInc. Out comes Cito Gaston. And it appears he has seen enough from Dustin McGowan, who has a good outing tonight against the Braves, but he'll depart with a deficit of 4-0. In comes Jesse Carlson. They'll make the change, and we'll bring it to you when we continue tonight on Rogers Sportsnet.
MLB.tv. Information is now available at BlueJays.com.
Number 39 is on to pitch. Here's Jesse Carlson, the left-hander coming out of the bullpen.
A couple of lefties scheduled up for the Atlanta Braves, so Cito Gaston goes to his bullpen. 36th time that Jesse Carlson has come in. He has racked up a ton of strikeouts, 27 now in 26 innings, holding left-handed batters to a .224 average.
The Braves have their all-star catcher up there, Brian McCann. He takes a strike against Carlson. McCann tonight has a base hit and 3 trips.
You're a left-handed batter against Jesse Carlson. You really got to keep inside there. Keep that front shoulder closed. You see how he kind of comes from Laredo from the side. Does Jesse. Closes that front shoulder and drops down just a little bit. Throws a lot of breaking balls to these lefties. Looking for the ball on the ground to get out of the inning right here.
1 ball and 1 strike to McCann. Teixeira's at first. It's fouled back. And Carlson leads this team in numbers worn so far. He was number 43 until Cito Gaston came on board. And so he gave that one up for the manager and took on number 48 for a game or 2. And now he's taken the number 39. All inside about a week.
Spring training, he had a different number also.
He was wearing 59 in spring training.
I remember we did that game in Philadelphia, the exhibition game, and he had a different number then too.
1-2, fouled away. The Braves have to be happy with this young man who's only 24 years of age, and he's already a 2-time All-Star. He should spend a lot of years behind the plate for the Braves. This one headed over near the dugout. Zahn is over there, and he almost slides right in there as the ball is just beyond his reach.
You're not going to get any help.
None at all.
When you head over towards the visitors' dugout on a pop-up. Here comes Zani. He finds it. He loses the mask. And look at everybody for the Atlanta Braves saying, go get it, Greg. You got it. You got plenty of room.
You've got no friends over there, at least not while the game is being played.
Now, if that ball is popped up to the Blue Jays, you got everybody in there just holding you out and holding you up so you can make the catch, directing you, telling you where to go.
There's a good-looking pitch, and that strikes out McCann.
That's why he's so tough against left-handed batter. He can drop down and throw that curveball and just freezes you. Watch McCann. He's thinking about it and then gives up on it, and by then it's too late. Out number 2 here.
For McCann, when that pitch comes out of the hand of Jesse Carlson, it must first appear like it's going to hit him in the backside.
You're right, and it's from about here, about 3/4, and he's stepping towards first base, so it looks like the ball's going to be behind you. And if you give up on it, you only have a split second to make up your mind if you're going to swing or not. And you freeze, you just wait for just a second, and you'll end up walking back to the dugout.
Greg Norton now 0 for 1. Norton was with Tampa Bay as recently as last year. He then hooked on with Seattle earlier this season and was let go by the Mariners, picked up by Atlanta. In fact, it was an injury to Norton, who was the last guy to make the Tampa Bay then Devil Rays last year, right at the beginning of the season, that opened up the door for Carlos Pena.
And all Carlos Pena did was one, he knocked the door down and hit
46
and got a big contract. But he would have been in the minor leagues if this man here did not get hurt. Let's take a look at this 2-strike pitch, and it sinks just under the knees for ball 1.
Now the crowd doesn't like the call, but strike zone says it's down 1-2. That comes in at the knees on Norton. 2 balls, 2 strikes. it goes. Outside part of the plate.
Tried to throw him a breaking ball. This one went around the plate. From where we were stationed here, you could see that ball go around the outside part of the plate. It's a walk. And now they got to face the big slugger and Jeff Francoeur.
Here's Francoeur in his third full season with the Braves. He's got 100+ RBIs the last 2 years, 41 this year, so he's well on his way. Taken 23rd overall in the 02 draft out of a high school in Parkview, Georgia. His team leads 4-0, 2-1 in the inning. He'll slash the ball into the seats in right field. Francoeur tonight 0 for 3. He struck out and flied out to left field twice. Part of that Georgia connection, now playing for the Braves. That's coming straight back and out of play. And Francoeur is not only a good hitter, but he's got a heck of an outfield arm. In fact, since he broke into the majors in the middle of the 05 season, he has 50 outfield assists.
Unheard of. Just unheard of. He tied for the major league lead last year with 19. And think about that, 19. This year he has 5. I think people are finally starting to get the message. Don't run on him. Just stay right there. Reminds me a lot of Jesse Barfield when he played here. Big, strong right fielder with lots of power.
Check swing. He does not go around. There's the call from Laz Diaz at first base.
Well, you can be the judge right here.
A fair call.
Yeah. High fastball, check swing.
Top of the 8th inning, 2 strikes on Francoeur, 2 men on for the Braves. 2 down in the inning, swing and a miss. There he goes. Carlson combines with McGowan to strike out the side. A pair of walks sandwiched in between, and the Blue Jays will have to come from behind if they're to defeat the Braves tonight.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Toth back at Sportsnet Connected Control. We have an update for you, and it is brought to you.
Jurrjens has been
so terrific tonight against the Toronto Blue Jays. In his last 2 starts, he did not give up an earned run. He certainly hasn't given one up here, leading 4-0 into the bottom of the 8th. And here is a telling statistic about the Blue Jays 2008 edition. When trailing after 7 innings, they are 0-31. In other words, this team has yet to come back and take a victory away from an opposing team. Here's a looper into left field. Coming on is a diving Jones, and what a catch. Stretches out and makes the grab. That is spectacular.
I didn't think he had any shot at getting that ball off the bat of Matt Stairs. Remember, Stairs is a pull hitter. They have everybody pulled around. Look where he starts here. And just like that triple he hit an inning or 2 ago, he has an extra gear. Turns it on and takes away a hit from Matt Stairs. Nice play.
As good as Jurrjens has been on the mound, he has received some terrific defense behind him. Notably from the first baseman Teixeira, but now Jones gets in on the act in left field. And so Jurrjens now, with 1 more out, will equal his longest outing of the year. That was 2 starts ago in Denver against the Rockies. Here's the man who hit a 2-run home run last night against Edinson Volquez in the 2nd inning. In fact, Roland had a 3 RBI evening as the Blue Jays defeated Cincinnati 7-1 and won their first series in a month. And that's what Cito Gaston would like to do, consistently win series and hopefully get his club back to 500 by the All-Star break. That's 15 games away.
It's going to be tough too in this series, the way Jurrjens is pitching. Tomorrow's starter for Atlanta, Tim Hudson, is the same type of pitcher, but you want to add a splitter. He's got a great split finger also. Same type of pitcher, mixes it up, fastball here, changeup, splitter, slider here and there, hits the corners. I believe he has 8 wins already also.
3-2 on Roland. Pitch from Jurrjens and a base hit left field.
Look at that bat right there from Scott Rowland. He was in a hole 0-2. And the way Jurrjens is pitching, looked like he wasn't going to get out of that hole, but he battled back to 3-2, got himself a fastball, and ripped it right by. Go tie.
Lyle Overbay now. Before the ball game last night against Cincinnati, Cito Gaston gathered his hitters together and had a meeting prior to the game. A chit-chat, as it were. Overbay pops it up back of second base. Middlebridge heads out into shallow center field and makes the catch for out number 2. And in that meeting, Gaston, as he said, was telling the players just to relax and make sure that they have a plan when they come to the plate. It's all well and good to have a plan when you come to the plate until you face a guy like Jurrjens tonight who you've never seen before.
Yeah, and they can't figure out what plan he has. He has just done a great job of mixing things up, keeping the hitters off balance, pitching backwards, if you will, at times. You're right, they've never faced him before, so I always think the advantage goes to the pitcher. You can watch the film and all that, but it's nothing like standing in that box and facing him for a couple of times just to get an idea.
And as you pointed out earlier, sometimes the key might be in trying to pick up a pattern on a young pitcher, but you were suggesting that he hasn't shown any kind of a pattern tonight.
I've been watching him here, and I haven't seen anything where, like, okay, he's going to throw a fastball first pitch. Doesn't do that. Okay, he's going to throw a fastball to all right-handed batters on the first pitch. He hasn't done that. Well, maybe he'll throw a changeup first pitch. He's done a good job of just really mixing it up where the Blue Jay batters can't sit on anything. Got him guessing.
1-1 to Zahn. Gloved by McCann. Here's a guy who likes to work the count, see a lot of pitches.
Just trying to get on here. Looking for some base runner. And then hoping for a big hit.
Checks his swing 3-1. In fact, Greg Zahn is a big proponent of seeing the ball into the glove of the catcher. How does that improve your?
Well, it helps you. It helps you to track the ball. Pete Rose was big at that. I've seen him so many times sit up there and just, you know, I'm just going to track it and watch it go right into the catcher's glove so my eyes stay right on it.
Three and two now on Zahn. The man at first is Scott Rowland. Jurrjens has allowed just 3 base hits tonight, working here to the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 8th inning.
He's been confident with his off-speed stuff, especially here with 2 strikes.
Here's a ball hit well into the air, shallow right along the line. Kelly Johnson is out, makes the catch, inning over. The Blue Jays get a hit, nothing more against Jurrjens in the 8th, and we head for the 9th. Toronto down 4-0.
Jurrjens into the dugout after finishing off the Blue Jays in the 8th. This is his longest outing of the year, and
perhaps we've seen him throw his last pitch. Here comes Bobby Cox. A job well done.
That usually tells it. Look at the kid. It looks like he wants to finish. He has never had a complete game. He wanted to finish. Bobby Cox said that's okay. But we'll see. 8 innings, 3 hits. Just 1 walk in his 104 pitches, and pretty impressive outing from this 22-year-old. The way he mixed it up, in line for his 8th win.
We'll see if he talked Bobby out of it.
Yeah.
Here's Jason Frazier.
28th time that Frazier has entered a ball game. Jason holding opponents to a .227 batting average. Good fastball, and he'll throw that little split change that he has. He'll use that as a strikeout pitch.
Brendan Jones is the first man up in the 9th inning. He took advantage on a stumble by left fielder Adam Lind in the 7th to pick up a triple. Jones, Lillibridge, and Blanco due for the Braves in the 9th, and they lead it 4-0. We'd like to wish a happy 90th birthday tonight to June Wilson, watching in London, Ontario. Not far from London, of course, St. Mary's, the home of the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. Tomorrow is the induction ceremony. And the Hall will welcome 4 men: Tony Fernandez, Peter Widrington, who was the chairman of the board here with the Blue Jays for so long, Billy Harris, who had a cup of coffee in the big leagues and a long career in the minors, and Gladwin Scott, who was paramount to the success of baseball in Manitoba, all to be inducted tomorrow. This ball down the line, Lind over for a look, and it bounces in foul ground.
And you're going to be there.
I'll be the master of ceremonies, and there'll be some baseball dignitaries there like Pat Gillick, Paul Beeston, Jim Fanning, Steve Rogers. All will be on hand, and so they encourage you, if you're going, and I should remind you, there's no admission charge if you'd like to go to the ceremony, to arrive around 10 a.m. for an 11 o'clock ceremony, just to get good parking and good seats. Two and two to the batter, Jones. There's a view from the seats. Frazier works, and it's fouled away. See, that's the spectator eye right there.
Tough to follow the ball.
It sure is.
You know, I feel a little bit more safe up here. Jason last worked 5 days ago in Pittsburgh when he picked up a hold, 2/3 of an inning. Done a good job at first batter efficiency, retiring 22 of the 28 batters that he has faced. That's the first batter he faces when he comes in.
We still haven't seen Brandon League come into a ball game since he was summoned last week. Cito Gaston said yesterday that he wants to get him in what he would call a non-critical situation.
Meaning his team is up by a lot or down by a lot.
Yes. And 4 is not a lot. So here's Frazier, 3 and 2. Strike 3. Goodbye, Mr. Jones. 1 down in the 9th.
Packs some punch with that fastball. Up 93, 94 miles an hour. The 7th strikeout by a Blue Jay pitcher here tonight, and he carves the corner with that 93-mile-an-hour fastball. So the place goes wild.
Well, because 7 strikeouts in this building means free pizza for everybody. So the place is hungry. As number 9 hitter Brent Lillibridge, the shortstop who is 0 for 3, stands in. hitting just .071 and 1 RBI. He fouls that back and out of play. Littlebridge had a great chance at driving in a second run after that triple by Jones in the 7th, but he grounded sharply to Scott Rowland at third. Here's Frazier, drafted by the Tigers in the 33rd round back in 1999. So he's proof that you can be an afterthought when draft day rolls around, but that doesn't mean you don't get to the big leagues eventually.
It might take you a while. You might have to go through different clubs like Jason has.
Drafted by the Tigers, spent many years with the Dodgers, traded here for Jason Worth in '04. Nothing in 2 on the shortstop Littlebridge. 1 down in the 9th inning. And foul back again. Jason has 1 victory to his credit this year. That was in the 6-hour rain-delayed game down in Philadelphia on the 18th of May. When the Blue Jays defeated the Phillies and went to 500 on the year. That pitch misses, 1 and 2.
Who can forget that game?
Wasn't that the game that Roy Halladay came in relief after the second rain delay? One ball, 2 strikes.
I was told today by our astute radio man, Alan Ashby, that today is game number 81. We are halfway home.
Isn't that something?
Thinking about all those games and games that the Blue Jays had and lost. We've only played half of the season.
Whereas Scott Carson described it to me before the game, we're at the apex of the year and everything's downhill from here. And some have decided, it seems, that the Blue Jays perhaps aren't capable of coming back in this. 1 or 2 people might be headed for the exits. Down 4-0 in the 9th. A shot down the line, and there's a fair ball. Littlebridge with a base hit. He hustles off to second base. Good arm from Rios, and it hits him. So Littlebridge with the double with 1 out in the 9th inning. Sportsnet Connected comes up after the ball game. And so they're standing by at the studio to bring you all the day's events in sports, including day 2 of the CFL season. Mike Toth and Martine Guyard are on assignment tonight. So join them after the ball game is over on Sportsnet Connected. Carlos Delgado had a big day in the first game of that 2-stadium doubleheader in New York.
Did he ever? I don't want to give away anything, so everybody sticks around to watch the highlights.
Oh,
but they're playing in Yankee Stadium, so he is very familiar with those surroundings. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he had a monster afternoon. Here's Gregor Blanco. And there might be a person or two saying, what on earth are you talking about a 2-stadium doubleheader?
Well, they have one of the games in the interleague here get washed away, I believe, last weekend. So today's first game was a day game at Yankee Stadium. After the game, they're going to board a bus, hike over to Shea Stadium and play a night game.
Get a police escort.
Yes.
Which will last all of about 15 minutes. 15 or 20 minutes.
Is that what it is?
Escort.
Okay.
It's not
well, that makes sense. Sure. And play a night game at Shea Stadium. I think they did that a few years back. They had the same scenario. I think they got caught in traffic. with that police escort the last time. It took him about an hour to get the shake.
They're doing the mock tomahawk chop up in the 500 level here tonight, as Gregor Blanco awaits the 1-1 down low. Well, see, for you going from Yankee Stadium to LaGuardia Airport, which is right next to Shea Stadium, is always an hour because you don't get a police escort. So those buses, they'll get there quickly. You and me, you know, jumping in a cab after a game at Yankee Stadium and trying to make a flight.
Traffic. You're just sitting in it. This will feel like a spring training game. You know, when you get on the bus in uniform.
Yep. Fraser's come in here. He struck out Brandon Jones, gave up the double to Lillibridge. He's now facing Blanco, and he walks him. And he'll hear it from the folks here at Rogers Center. First and second for Atlanta, and perhaps Cito Gaston's getting a little restless.
Well, you were talking about Brandon League pitching in a ball game, and I see he has taken off his jacket and starting to get warmed up in that pen.
Ruben Gotay, the third baseman, 1 for 3. He doubled and scored in the first inning. Up there with a chance to make it a larger lead than 4-0. And once again, we get a word now from Sam Cosentino. Sam.
Well, Jamie, the Blue Jays started with 8 relievers in the bullpen today. With John Parrish pitching tomorrow, that will precipitate a move here at some point tonight or early tomorrow morning. So that roster spot will open. Most likely will be League, who hasn't seen a lot of action since being called up.
Cito Gaston and J.P. Ricciardi will make that decision after the ball game. Breaking ball in for strike 1. Gotay with 2 on and 1 away. The 1-1 pitch almost seemed to cross up zone a little bit.
Yeah, it really looked like it did. He's not going out there. Maybe he was just surprised by the speed of the pitch. Watch Greg Zahn. He sets up on the inside part of the plate. The ball is away, and he just cups it. Ball 2.
Big cut there from Gotay, but a crisp fastball at about 95 from Fraser. Gets him. Strike 3, and Fraser picks up another strikeout. That's 2 in the inning.
Blue Jay pitchers are picking up a lot of strikeouts. McGowan had 4, Carlson 2, Jason Frazier now has 2.
Second baseman Kelly Johnson now takes a breaking ball for strike 1. Coming up for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 9th inning, scheduled to hit the number 9 hitter Adam Lind, and then back to the top of the order for Scudero and England. Fly ball left field. In the corner is Lind. The catch is made, That's out number 3, and the Blue Jays have work to do in their half of the ninth, trailing by 4. They'll come to the plate when we continue on Rogers Sportsnet.
Look no further than the impressive outing by Jurrjens, who faces just 2 batters over the minimum.
Just 1 walk, 3 hits given up from the young right-hander. That's a career high 8 innings pitched in 1 ball game. Did it economically with just 104 pitches, and he will now give way to the Atlanta Braves version of B.J. Ryan.
Although this is not a save situation, Mike Gonzalez comes in to face the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Left-hander facing left-hander here with Adam Lind up at the plate. Gonzalez is making a comeback after Tommy John surgery.
That's what I mean by the version of B.J. Ryan. He just had his Tommy John surgery just over a year ago, May 31st, 2007. He was activated from the 15-day DL on June the 17th and has made 3 appearances, 2 of them resulting in saves. And he's got a very impressive consecutive saves, although this isn't a save, like you said. Consecutive saves going.
That's fouled back. Yes, he has converted each of his last 32 save opportunities. In fact, he hasn't blown a save in almost 4 years. You've got to go back to June the 20th. Well, actually 4 years. June the 25th of 04 against Cincinnati. He gets a ground ball from Adam Lind here, and Lind is gone for the first out.
Those 32 consecutive saves are the longest current streak of any kind in the major leagues, and it's getting up there for the most consecutive saves since 1969. That belongs to Randy Myers, when Randy Myers saved 37 consecutive games between the 97 and 98 season.
Here's Scudero flying it into left field. Jones is there for out number 2. On a great evening here in Toronto, a muggy one with clear skies. We have watched as the Braves come back into town. Bobby Cox and Cito Gaston reunited. 2 went head-to-head in the '92 World Series, and this young man has been the story of the evening. Jurrjens, 8 innings of work, a 3-hitter, didn't give up a run. David Eckstein now is the man at the plate. Jurrjens watches on as Gonzalez tries to put it away, and there's a strike to Eckstein. An intriguing rocking motion here from Gonzalez as he pitches to Eckstein, and there's a pop-up. This should do it. Johnson settles under it, and the Braves come into Toronto and shut them out. A 4-0 win for Atlanta. Jurrjens, so impressive, going 8 innings as he picks up his 8th victory of the year. We'll return to wrap it up here on Rogers Sportsnet after this.